From the studio of WTAP Plus, you're watching Women of the MOV with host Phyllis Smith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women of the MOV podcast. My next guest is Parkersburg City Councilwoman Sharon Kuhl. She has been on council for 10 years, and she is one of two women on council. Sharon, thank you so much for coming in today. How are you?
I am good, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? I know you're a very familiar face within Parkersburg.
You want to know what?
Yes, I am interested in, so how did you get inspired to get onto council?
Well, actually, the first time I ran for office was in 1985. But it was not District 2, it was District 3, which is where I lived. I was not married at that time. And I've lived here all my life, and I seen what was happening, which wasn't much. And the roads, the infrastructure, and I thought, I can make a difference. I can do this. So I ran, and I lost, and that's okay. I said, that's okay. I never gave up. This is something that I want to do. I felt that I could really make a difference in the city of Parkersburg. Lived here all my life, wanted to see it become better, and so 2016, married, and I ran for office, and I won.
What did that feel like to win after?
That was such a I can't believe it moment. And my husband also won his reelection, for Wood County Magistrate. And I'll never forget, we was coming home and we was driving down Southwood. And it was 11:30 at night. We came from the courthouse. And I said, Joe, stop the car. And we stopped right in the middle of the road. And I said to him, wow. And he said, what are you wowing about? And I said, this is my responsibility now. District 2 is my responsibility. And I said, I don't know why I was elected. No one knows. I hope it's because they had faith in me. I said, but God has a plan for me, and I will do whatever he asks of me to do. And Joe looked at me and he said, and you're a winner just by making that statement. And I said, okay, let's go home, Magistrate Kuhl. He said, okay, City Councilwoman Sharon Kuhl. And we went home, and it was an overwhelming experience.
And that was 10 years ago?
That right there was 2016, November 2016. And then I was sworn in this 2017, January 2017, and my husband swore me in.
That is I remember covering when he swore you in for the first time. And so I wanted to ask you, you got elected to council. What was it like learning how to be a councilwoman? Because at that time you were the only woman?
I was familiar with council. I attended council meetings. I had spoke at council meetings. Wasn't pretty sight when I spoke at council meetings, kind of like it is now, but I had, and it was personal to me because my husband was on the police department, and I stood up for them, and I still do, 1,000%. So getting on council, realizing, oh, you're the only woman. 8 men. And I thought the world of every one of them. But men are men. Women are women. Women have their own opinions. They want what they want to do. So first year was kind of a little bit of a learning experience for me. What do I do? How am I going to get these guys on my side? And and see that I am one of them, regardless of my sex. And first year was trying. It was very trying. But we ended up best friends, and we ended up getting a lot done in my first 4 years.
Is there anything that you've helped get across the finish line that you're particularly proud of?
Yes, there's a lot of there is. I mean, people, I hear all the time, Parkersburg, there's nothing, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Well, first of all, we are out of debt. Okay? They used to lease the cruisers. They used to, everything was on leasing, or we never bought a straight. We now pay for the cruisers. We're not in debt. We have bought a new fire truck. There is another one coming, and there'll be another one after that, paid for. Everything has been paid for. We're not in debt. Parkersburg is not in debt. We work on right now it's a $38 million a year budget. The things that have been done in Parkersburg have been for the citizens, like the splash pad, Southwood. For the first time, Southwood was recognized. Okay, Southwood, I'm very proud of. We got a new splash pad. Our pond, I don't call it a pond anymore. I call it a lake because it's absolutely beautiful. Our roads are being paved. There's so many things that has happened in my 11 years. This is my 11th year that I'm so proud of. But the one thing that I'm proud of that did not involve city money, did not involve the city. It was mine and Jimmy Dixon from Greenscapes, piece of property right above the pool. Nothing but dirt. Ugly. We did not have any monument. We had them to honor our veterans, which I dearly love. We had nothing to honor our first responders. So I went to the mayor and I said, will you let me build a memorial on this piece of property? It's not being used for. After a long conversation, what I wanted to do, he said yes. Jimmy Dixon and I met at Stoke Coffee, came up with a plan, and we now have the only one in the state of West Virginia. It is called the Seats of Honor, and it honors our police, fire, EMS, and 911 dispatchers. And we have a flag for each one of them. We have 4 benches up there, and we have names on them for people that are nominated to go on. I never turn away anyone that is nominated to go on there. The first recipient was, and he was very, very surprised, at that time, it was Lieutenant Matt Board, who is now our chief of police.
Oh, yes. Matt Board is so nice. We talk to him all the time, pester him all the time.
Known Matt since he was born.
Oh, really? Yeah, he does great
He does a
work.
great job. He is a great man. He's a great father. He loves the police department. He takes care of his men, and they all respect him. And that's a lot. That's a lot.
And you were telling me you were the first female president of, was it council?
No.
Or?
From District 2, Southside.
Oh, yes.
I was the first female president.
Oh.
And I am the first female elected to office. No, I take that back. I'm the second because I beat the first one. But I am the second woman to serve in District 2. See, Dorsey Chevron served for 30 years. It's kind of hard to beat him, I tried. I only lost by 6 votes my last time I ran against him. But,
oh, wow. That's
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself being in a mentorship role, like for new council members? Have you kind of helped to show them the ropes?
For the new council members, when we get a new council member, I always introduce myself and kind of I'm here if you need me. Here's my phone number. And I have mentored a lot of new council members. And I'm proud of them. It's not easy being on city council. It is. It's far from easy, especially the last year. It has not been easy.
I know you were telling me that you spend about 50 hours.
About 50 hours a week. My home is my office. Excuse me. My home phone, my landline, is my office phone. My day starts sometimes at 6:45 is my first phone call that I receive. I get phone calls all day long. I even get them at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I never turn anyone down. I've always returned my phone calls. So between my meetings and what my constituents need when they call me, which I'm 99.9% have taken care of all of those problems when they've called, it's about 50 hours a week. I have never taken a vacation from city council.
Never?
Never. I have only missed one council meeting. And
The whole time?
my 11th year in that retired was my first 3 months on council. I missed in March. And that was something that I could not avoid. I was in the hospital and was given 24 hours to live.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I'm here.
Yeah, you're still with us.
I'm here.
That's good.
I
would say that's a good reason to miss a
The hardest thing was when my husband was in the ER with me that night and that day, and he asked the doctor, "Is my wife going to die?" And he said, "We'll know in 24 hours."
Oh, my goodness.
It was very serious, and I won't go into it, but it was very serious. But God took care of me. He had a plan. And that right there, Joe said, "Don't give it up. Don't give it up." He said, "You keep on fighting." I did. And I have not missed a council meeting since then, nor have I missed any committee meetings.
That's very impressive.
I take my oath of office very seriously. And when I tell them I'm here for the citizens of Parkersburg, just not from District 2, I take calls all over the city. Okay, that people come, "My councilman won't do that,"
Right. I feel like sometimes people don't even realize that, like, they're split up into districts. Can you explain a little bit more about which areas you specifically cover?
My District 2 is when you come up across the Fifth Street Bridge, you come up Division Street, 9th Avenue, which is on the left-hand side of the road. I am on the right-hand, my district starts on the right-hand side of 9th Avenue. It goes all the way down to Pike Street. It cuts off. I always say the fire station on Blizzard Drive. Then you go over across the street. It goes down Pike Street to 27th Avenue, all the way over to Division Street Extension. One side of Division Street Extension is District 2, one side's District 3. And then all the way down to where Greens is now. That is District 3. I don't have any on that side. It's a big area.
Yes.
And that includes Southwood Park.
A lot of territory to cover. So you've been on council for 11 years. Do you want to keep going? Do you have plans for retirement?
I have not decided. I'm not getting any younger. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot out of you. You get upset. You get all the feelings. I said, thank God I'm not going through menopause. 'Cause it would be worse than it is right now, you know. But I love what I do. And I love the people in District 2. I really do. I have got probably the most ingenuous citizens in my district. But a lot has happened over the past year and a half. City Council has gotten a little bit contentious. There's a different breed out there. I'm going to call them breed. I don't know how other describe them. But it's different than it was my first 8 years. And I'm still doing what I feel and what the majority of the people in my district want. And I guess we'll just have to really wait for another year and a half, and then I'll make that decision. A lot can happen.
Yes, absolutely. And kind of going back to that topic, I kind of wanted to ask you, has there ever been a moment where you felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm so overwhelmed, or you were kind of downtrodden? Has that ever happened to you, and how did you get through it, if it did?
Yes, and I thank God for my husband. My husband lives in District 2, okay, so he does have a say. I don't cross over into his lines, but he can cross over into my lines.
I see.
Because, I don't have anything to do with the judicial. But if it was not for him, yes. There is times that I have walked through that door and I said, really upset. I'm not going to lie. Some city council meetings, you're just upset. And I walked through the door and I said, this is it. I'm done. And he, being my husband, calm, cool, collective, he says, get out of those dress clothes, come back and be my wife. I said, okay, so I do, and go in and sit on the couch, and he's over there beside me. And he said, I've only got very few words to say to you. He says, number one, you took an oath. Number one. He said that you take seriously. Number two, you're not a quitter. You see things through until the very end. He said, my wife is not a quitter. And he said, there may be some people that upset you, but look at all the people in District 2 that you don't upset, that you have helped, one way or the other. And he said, now when they come to you and they say, it's time, then it's time. He said, but my wife is not a quitter. And he says, we're going to pray together.
That's wonderful to have that kind of support.
He is. We'll be celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary in May.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
And we've been through a lot, but there is no other person. There's not another man in this world that I would want to call my husband.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I feel like not everyone not everyone can say that.
That's true. That's true.
So that is very nice to have that kind of support.
He's a wonderful man inside and out. Very caring, very loving. And he puts up with a lot for me. Because I'll come home and I'll be upset and I'll say, let me rant.
Yeah.
He says, okay. He says, so does your recliner. He lets me rant, and then we're okay.
Yes, yes. So I know you said you're from Parkersburg. Are you from District 2?
No.
Originally? Okay.
I actually, when I say I lived in Parkersburg all my life, except for 12 years. I lived in Vienna. That's where my dad we lived in Vienna. And then my grandfather passed away. And he left the house to my dad. So we moved to Parkersburg when I was 11 years old. And then my father was killed when I was 12 by a drunk driver.
Oh, my goodness.
And then my mother said, I'm going to build us a house. So they found the property on Division Street Extension, and she built us a house. So I went to PHS my 10th grade year. I loved PHS. I'm kind of torn. My husband's from PHS. But I graduated from South in 1975.
Oh, so you went to both.
And I have lived on Southside all my life.
Oh, wonderful.
Not always in District 2. 3 was where our house was. Across the street was District 2.
I was going to ask you too. I wanted to ask you about your values. What are your values, and how do they inform your decisions on Parkersburg City Council? No pressure.
I can say in 3 words: faith, God, and family. That's my values. That's what I value. And I try to live my life in those ways.
And that informs your decisions for council?
Yeah, and I can honestly say, I could tell you 2 stories that you would not believe happened to me.
Oh, really?
That strengthened my faith in God, strengthened my strength to be on city council. One story, I'm not going to go into it. I mean, I could, but you don't have enough time. But when I need him, he's there. In some form or the other, God always takes care of me. And if I lose that, if I lost my faith, if I lost God, I don't intend on doing, but there's no reason to live. I mean, what purpose do you have? Because he gives you your purpose. He tells you your purpose. I'm not here, promote that part of it. That's my personal feelings. But he has made me stronger. I was a strong woman before I got on council. I'm a lot stronger now. But I just don't put up with any crap. I'm straight. People think that I'm straight and direct to the point. Okay? I've never lied to any of my constituents. I never will. No matter what the truth is. This is it. You want to know the truth? You call me. Don't listen to everyone else. Okay? I will never lie to them just to cover up for anything. And thank God I've never had to cover up for anything. And I always return my phone calls. There's not one.
That's a big one.
There is not one phone call I have never ever returned.
I know I'd be calling you late at night asking about those council meetings, and God bless Sharon, because she always answers, so she gets back to me. We appreciate it so much.
But that's me. And so I am direct and to the point. I don't beat around the bush. I'm sorry if what I am going to tell you don't like, but it's the truth. When I ran for office, when I went door to door, I said, you can come to me with any problem, and I'll listen, but together we will solve it. And I've lived by that.
I wanted to double back to, so you ran in 1985, and was that tough not to get that, or what did you kind of maybe expect it would happen that way?
The first time's always tough.
Right. I know sometimes people run just to get their names out there, and they just, you know.
Because it's tough running against an incumbent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and Larry Godfrey had been in there for quite a while. But I gave it my best shot door to door, signs, what all I could do. I don't know what changed because I ran for office 6 times before I was elected.
Oh.
Over from 1985 until 2016. I never gave up.
I love that.
Just kept on saying, you can do this. You're going to do this. But every time the message was different, what I was going to do. And I guess as I got older, I had learned a lot. And the people in my district were around my age. I want to say that. We had some I love being around kids. But they listened and we talked. So I'm unless they were just tired because of what was going on, maybe I may decide to run in 4 years and they're tired of what's been going on, But you just never can tell, But just don't give up. It is disheartening every time. The hardest one was losing by 6.
Oh, yeah.
That was the hardest one against
brutal.
a guy who'd been in there, for 26 years. And we were friends. But Al Smith was mayor. And that man is the one that encouraged me to get back into it.
That's wonderful.
He was a Democrat and I was a Republican. We spent a lot of time in a gazebo. He called Dorsey over there just to harass Dorsey. He was, Al was funny, an instigator. I loved him to death. But our parties never crossed. They never separated us because above everything, we were friends. So, and went to school with his daughters and we're still friends to this day.
What was it like when you finally were elected? I'm sure that was really something.
I couldn't believe it. You're like, I was at the courthouse and I was looking at the screen and my husband was standing there beside me and I said, I saw that I was ahead. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm ahead. And Joe looked at me and said, both your precincts are in. You won. And I just grabbed a hold of him. He was the first person that I wanted to share with.
That's great. And then, so I wanted to touch back on, I know you said the council has kind of become contentious. And I feel like maybe like the overall climate has become a little bit more contentious. How do you deal with that?
I listen. I listen to, I speak up when I feel that I need to say something. Then they say, I'm not on Facebook. I think Facebook is the root of all evils. Okay? Because you can get on Facebook and put a fake name in and write whatever you want to write.
Right.
And no one is held accountable for what they're saying. And be honest with you, 90% of what is being said about council right now is not the truth. Okay? And it's too easy. It's too easy. What I don't like is people who do not even live in the city of Parkersburg are the ones that are causing the most problems. Mm. And I have a problem with that. You don't live in our city. Why do you care? You drive through it. Why are you causing all of these problems? And that's where I have a problem. I have a big problem. Now, if someone from Parkersburg wants to come in and they want to do whatever that they feel that they need to do, they're doing it for their city, I would hope. But why, what reason does someone who does not live in our city have to do this. And I get angry.
And you find that's gotten worse over the years?
Oh, yes. This is it. This is the worst. This year, from June of last year until it continues, it is the worst that it has ever been. But it still doesn't stop you from doing what's right. You know, we've been accused. I think the biggest thing that really hurts me, they're loading our pockets, you know, meaning we're getting kickbacks. I hate it whenever they downgrade the mayor. You may not like him, but again, Facebook, you can say whatever you want to say. And 90% of that is not true. No, I'll go 99% is not true. Okay? But you can't do anything about it. As you know.
Yes, sometimes people say they've seen things on Facebook and why haven't we reported it? And we're like, well, we need to verify that before we...
And even if you did look into it, probably wasn't true. You know?
Sometimes, it's crazy how far from the truth it can become sometimes.
When I was first on Facebook, and when I first got in office, I learned after 6 months, after a year, I was off of Facebook. Because as a public official, you can't say what you want to say. I can't get on and say, this is not true. Because then they really get onto you. You know, then you're on the person, you know. Yeah, it's been a tough, but it's not anything I can't handle.
Nothing you can't handle.
Nothing I can handle.
Well, Sharon, is there anything else that you would like to add before we go? Or is there anything about council that you think people may not realize or that you would like for them to realize about council?
People think that city council people can do whatever they want to, and they do whatever they want to. And we have two functions. City council is only responsible for the budget and legislation. That is it. Anything we do outside of that within our district, that comes from our hearts. Okay, that's because we want to do it. We're people. We're human beings. Human beings, like anyone else, is going to make a mistake. I'll own up to my mistakes, as will most of city council members. But they need to treat us like we're humans, because we are. We're all God's people. Okay? And you're criticizing I can't even go there. I can't. I'll say things that I probably shouldn't
have to cut out of the podcast.
But I love the city of Parkersburg. I love the people in the city of Parkersburg. Some of them have great ideas. I listen to them. They have given us great ideas. And we ask for their input. And they sometimes don't think that we listen. We do listen. But just because you come to me and say, this needs to be done, or I'd like to see this done, I've got 3,000 voters in my district. 5 can come to me, but what about those other 2,995 voters that also have a voice? Oh, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. Well, did you talk to the other people in the district? Did you talk to the other citizens in Parkersburg? It's just not 5 of you. It's just not 10 of you. We've got 28,000 people that live here.
That must be hard to...
It does. That's why each district represents 3,000 voters. Okay? And the city council person supposed to listen to the majority of the people in their district, okay? And then together we come to a consensus, and that's how we figure out what's best for Parkersburg. And that's the only way it's going to work, because we can't be everywhere 24/7.
And that's the main goal. What's best for
But I love
Parkersburg?
Parkersburg, and I love being on council,
Well,
even with everything that happens.
well, yes. Well, I can feel it. I can feel your love for Parkersburg, and I thank you for coming on my podcast today.
I thank you so much for inviting me.
I appreciate it. Well, everyone, that was Sharon Kuhl with Parkersburg City Council. You'll see her on the news, I'm sure. And thank you for joining us, and I'll see y'all next time.